At exactly 4:42 a.m., 3 Iranian Ghadir-class submarines settled onto the seafloor 18 miles southeast of the Bandar Abbas shipping lanes. The captains killed their electric motors. No propeller noise, no active sonar pings. Just 115 tons of North Korean-derived steel resting on sediment 97 feet below the surface. Above them, the pre-dawn darkness concealed a chess game already in progress. The Iranians believed geography favored them. The Americans had been tracking their every move for 6 days. The Strait of Hormuz isn't just a narrow waterway on a map. It's a natural amplifier for asymmetric warfare. At its tightest point, this 2.1-mile choke point funnels 20% of the world's oil through waters, averaging just 131 feet deep. Strong tidal currents create acoustic clutter that masks submarine noise. Dense merchant traffic layers and mechanical interference that confounds traditional sonar systems. For a conventional navy, these conditions are obstacles. For Iran's submarine force, they represent opportunity. The Ghadir-class exists for exactly this purpose. Designed for shallow water operations where larger boats cannot venture, these two 9-meter vessels can sit motionless on the seabed for hours, waiting for a high-value target to wander into torpedo range. Their brushless DC electric motors run quieter than conventional systems. Harder to hear, harder to find. In theory, this tactic exploits the acoustic chaos of shallow water to make them invisible. In practice, it requires an enemy who isn't looking. The USS Gravely had been looking for 6 days. The target steaming through the pre-dawn gloom was a 9,000-ton Arleigh Burke-class destroyer conducting a freedom of navigation operation. To Iran's naval planners, this represented a provocation requiring a response. To the destroyer's captain, this transit was Tuesday. The Iranians planned to change that calculation. 3 submarines, 6 torpedoes, the element of surprise they no longer possessed. Inside the Gravely's Combat Information Center, blue light illuminated rows of tactical displays. The AN/SQQ-89 subsurface combat system had been processing acoustic data from multiple sources since the ship entered the strait 14 hours earlier. Hull-mounted sonar painted contacts ahead and astern. A towed array streaming 3,000 feet behind the ship listened passively for mechanical transients. And 37,000 feet overhead, a P-8A Poseidon maritime patrol aircraft circled methodically, seeding the water with sonobuoys. The P-8 doesn't look like a weapon. It looks like a commercial airliner, because it is one of Boeing 737-800 airframe with twin CFM56 turbofan engines. What makes it lethal isn't the platform, it's the sensors. The AN/APY-10 radar maps surface contacts across 150 miles, while the acoustic suite processes signals from up to 129 sonobuoys simultaneously. Each sonobuoy is a disposable underwater microphone dropped from altitude. Some transmit active pings. Others listen passively for propeller cavitation, hull creaks, and machinery vibration. The P-8's mission crew synthesizes this data in real time, building a 3-dimensional acoustic picture transmitted instantly via data link to every ship in the task force. At 4:47 a.m. sonobuoy 23 detected an anomaly. Faint metallic resonance at bearing 142 degrees. Too regular to be geological, too static to be marine life. The acoustic signature matched Iranian diesel-electric submarines in passive mode. The P-8's tactical coordinator tagged the contact and transmitted coordinates to the Gravely. A second sonobuoy 4 miles northeast confirmed a second contact. Then a third. The 3 Ghadir submarines thought they were ghosts. They were pinned butterflies under glass. At 4:51 a.m., the Gravely's tactical action officer made an immediate decision. Launch the helo. The MH-60R Seahawk lifted from the flight deck 90 seconds later. This isn't a transport helicopter, it's a flying anti-submarine warfare platform. The APS-153 radar handles surface search. The AQS-22 dipping sonar can be lowered directly into the water from a hover. 25 sonobuoy launch tubes. The MAD-XR magnetic anomaly detector senses disruptions in Earth's magnetic field caused by large metal objects underwater. And 2 Mark 54 lightweight torpedoes mounted on hardpoints. The helicopter reached the first contact's last known position at 4:51 a.m. and deployed its dipping sonar. Active pings propagated through thermoclines and salinity layers at 1,500 meters per second. The return echoes painted a clear picture. One Ghadir submarine, resting on sediment. Torpedo tubes flooded, preparing to fire. The Iranians still believed they were hidden. That illusion was about to cost them everything. The Iranian plan relied on textbook ambush doctrine. Wait until the destroyer closes to 9 miles. Fire 2 torpedoes per submarine. 6 weapons converging from different bearings overwhelm defensive systems through sheer volume of fire. On paper, it looked achievable. Iran's Valfajr torpedo uses compressed oxygen as fuel, longer range, higher speed. The Hoot employs supercavitation technology reverse-engineered from Russian designs, traveling at 360 kilometers per hour by creating a gas bubble around itself to reduce drag. Both weapons carry 260-kilogram warheads capable of cracking destroyer hulls, if they connect. The American response didn't wait for Iranian initiative. At 4:54 a.m., the MH-60R positioned over the first submarine and dropped a Mark 54 torpedo. This isn't the heavyweight weapon carried by American attack submarines. It's a lightweight system designed specifically for helicopters and aircraft. 324 millimeters in diameter, a 100-pound warhead, top speed around 40 knots. But what it lacks in size, it compensates with processing power. The Mark 54 combines advanced sonar from the Mark 50 with digital signal processing that can distinguish between actual targets and decoys in acoustically complex environments. It was designed for exactly this scenario: shallow water, high clutter, enemy submarines sitting motionless on the bottom, thinking they're safe. The torpedo entered the water, activated its guidance systems, began its terminal run. The Iranian crew never heard it coming. Passive sonar requires something to listen to. The Mark 54's quiet propulsion and optimized acoustic signature gave them nothing. By the time the Ghadir's sonar operator detected the incoming weapon, it was 400 meters out and accelerating, too close to evade, too fast to outmaneuver. The captain ordered emergency blow. Compressed air screamed into ballast tanks. The submarine lurched upward, 12 seconds too late. The Mark 54 detonated 8 feet beneath the keel. The 100-pound warhead didn't punch through armor. It didn't need to. Underwater explosions create shockwaves that propagate through water with devastating efficiency. The blast compressed the submarine's hull beyond its structural tolerance. Welds failed, compartments flooded. The bow section separated and sank separately. 7 Iranian sailors never reached the surface. 4:57 a.m. The second Ghadir attempted to flee. Its captain had heard the explosion, understood the ambush was compromised, and ordered full power toward Iranian territorial waters. But a submarine doing 11 knots is slower than a jogging human. The MH-60R reacquired the contact, vectored in, and dropped a second Mark 54. This engagement lasted 34 seconds from weapon release to detonation. No survivors recovered. The third Ghadir made a different choice. Rather than run or fight, the captain surfaced immediately and transmitted an emergency surrender signal. Smart decision. The only decision that allowed his crew to live. The MH-60R circled overhead while a boarding team from the Gravely secured the submarine. 7 Iranian sailors climbed onto the deck, hands visible, weapons absent. They were detained and transferred to shore authorities 6 hours later. Their submarine was scuttled in deep water after intelligence teams photographed every system aboard. The math told an unforgiving story. Iran expended 3 Ghadir-class submarines, roughly $25 million each at domestic production estimates, plus $2.1 million per boat in training and operational deployment. Total Iranian losses exceeded $81 million, plus 14 trained submariners killed. The United States expended 2 Mark 54 torpedoes at approximately $1.2 million each. Total American cost, $2.4 million. Return on investment, 3 ambush platforms eliminated. An unmistakable message sent to every other submarine commander in Iran's fleet. But the financial ledger doesn't capture the strategic implications. Iran's submarine force isn't large. Estimates suggest 14 to 21 Ghadir-class boats in active service. Losing 3 in a single engagement represented a 14 to 21% reduction in their submarine fleet. More critically, it exposed the fundamental vulnerability of their entire doctrine. Sitting on the seabed only works when the enemy can't see you. Modern anti-submarine warfare networks see everything. Sonobuoys create acoustic tripwires across hundreds of square miles. Helicopters provide rapid strike response. Maritime patrol aircraft prosecute contacts before submarines can react. The physics of detection have shifted decisively against diesel-electric boats operating in monitored chokepoints. Within 48 hours, satellite imagery showed increased activity at Iranian submarine pens. Boats that normally deployed were remaining in port. Maintenance schedules were being accelerated. Training exercises were canceled. The Iranian Navy had confronted an uncomfortable reality. Their submarines weren't invisible. Their tactics weren't clever. Their geography wasn't protection. The Strait of Hormuz belonged to whoever controlled the information, and the information belonged to sensor networks Iran couldn't match. The Gravely continued its transit without altering course. By sunset, the ship had cleared the strait and entered the Gulf of Oman. Business as usual. This is modern anti-submarine warfare when nobody's watching closely. No dramatic surface battles, no missile salvos lighting up the horizon, just integrated sensors, patient intelligence gathering, and precision strikes delivered before the enemy realizes the fight has started. Iran wanted to demonstrate that their submarines could threaten American naval power in their own territorial waters. What they actually demonstrated was that bringing Cold War tactics to a digital battlefield is suicide by sonar. The Ghadir-class boats are lethal against unaware targets. Against a destroyer that knows you're there before you leave port, they're 117-ton targets practicing for their own destruction. Some lessons are learned through experience. Others are taught with torpedoes. Iran received the second kind. If you found this breakdown valuable, subscribe and share. Your support brings more untold stories of modern naval operations to light.